Hi, my name is Drew Ryan,
And I'm Brendan McHugh.
and we research 1930s literature.
The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck was published in 1939. The story follows a family named the Joads who lived in Oklahoma. They were a family of poor tenant farmers that are driven off their farm because of economic struggles and hardships. Farming was at its worst during the Great Depression. The Grapes of Wrath takes the reader into a real-time view of the 1930s and gives one the full feeling of being poor during the Great Depression. The Joads head for California along with many other farmers in hope for a better life.
The first comic book was published in 1933, titled Famous Funnies, which included reprints of popular newspaper strips. Comics were a way for people to escape their daily struggle during the 1930s. They were recreational compared to some of the more serious novels written like The Grapes of Wrath. Most comics were mysteries. Crime and mystery were a popular topic, but the business changed forever once superheroes like Superman and Batman were introduced. The first Superman comic appeared in 1938. Movies today were based off these comics. One can see this because Krypton, Superman's weakness, was used here. The Bat was originally a villain, first shown in silent films in the 1920s. It was not until more recent times that Batman was created into a hero, not a villain.
John Dos Passos was a well-educated man who began to emerge in the 1920s out of Harvard. He was born into a hotel in Chicago and spent most of his life traveling with his mother from hotel to hotel. He was different from most writers during the Great Depression. He wrote about economic change and his views on socialism and communism. He is most famous for a series of books called the USA Trilogy, which was published throughout the 1930s. Unlike other writers, he talked about his pessimism of where the U.S. economy was going. He talked about where he thought the U.S. would be in the 20th century and how reform was needed. This was a time of great economic downfall, which rooted his pessimistic mindset.
Pulp magazines were very cheap to make. They included mysteries, detective stories, westerns, romance, science fiction, horror, and adventure. These magazines, similar to comic books, were a way for people to get away from the Great Depression struggles. Reading was very popular, as 39 million people read the newspaper daily. Journalism also became popular in the 1930s as people began to travel the world.